Hello, welcome everybody. I am so excited for today's guest on the Coveted Chics Conversations podcast. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Miss Michelle Steiner. Michelle, are you with us today?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for reaching out and wanting to share your story with our listeners. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Michelle Steiner. I live in Pennsylvania with my husband, Ron, and our two cats, Jack and Sparrow. And I am a disability writer and speaker. I have disability articles that have been published on a number of different sources. And I also have my own blog called Michelle's Mission, where I write about having a learning disability. And I get the chance to feature my photography and have a store and a forum as well. I also work in a school as a paraeducator with students who have disabilities. And I have a learning disability myself.
Oh, wow. So when did you find out you had a learning disability? Did you always know it?
I was officially diagnosed with one when I was in kindergarten.
Oh,
My preschool teacher thought some things were going on, but when I went into kindergarten, that's when I got the official diagnosis.
okay. And so how was your journey been since learning that you learned different from others? How has your journey been?
Well, in the beginning, it was really difficult for me. I can remember just feeling frustrated and wanting to learn just like my peers did and just wanting to fit in. And school was a real struggle for me. Socially, it was hard to fit in with other students. Part of that was being an only child for many years. And the bullying started pretty young. And also, it was difficult for me academically. Anything from math was really hard. Reading comprehension was difficult for me. And I also struggle with visual perception. And I had, along with repeating kindergarten the following year, I also had to receive specialty instruction in all areas in the beginning and accommodations such as having the test read aloud to me and also having extra time on tests.
Hmm. So how did that help you? Do you think that helped you cope with it?
I believe it helped me in a lot of areas, especially because I was able to move into more regular ed classes for science, social studies, and English. And because I'm a strong reader, but as far as math, that was something that we tried to do, but we didn't get very far with. But the accommodations did work, and I took a lot of those to college with me because my brain needs extra time to process information. And sometimes hearing things read aloud can make a difference too, for me to be able to understand it better.
And so the name of your blog, the Mighty Nonverbal Learning Project, how did that come about? When did you start it?
Sure. Well, the name of my blog is actually Michelle's Mission, but I've had articles published on the Mighty and Nonverbal Learning Project. Writing has always been very healing for me. That was one of the first things that I could do that I found out I was good at. I can remember I wrote a story about a dinosaur, and my dad read it and he said, "Oh, this is really good." And I was like, wow, this is something I actually can do. That because before that, I didn't think that I had any talent or anything that I was good at. Everything that I tried was just really frustrating for me. And that just gave me the encouragement to write a lot of more things. And I eventually found a writing group with adults. And I was a teenager at the time, and they were just a couple years older than I was, most of them. And 20 some years later, we still meet once a month for writing, and
Oh.
we're still friends. And I can remember having one of my friends telling me, "You should really write about having a learning disability." And I thought, "Oh, I don't know, that's really personal." Yeah, I think I wrote some bad poetry, some other really bad things at that. But when I finally started to write about my experience with having limited hand dexterity and opening up locks, and it got published on the Mighty. That was one of the most healing things that I've ever done. I
Wow.
Yeah, and it gave me a voice, and that just encouraged me to write more articles, and it encouraged me to go to other places to get things published, and it also encouraged me to start my own blog.
Wow, so that was something that was therapeutic in your confidence, opening up that new thing that's like, wow, I'm good at this. I can do this.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because before I didn't think I was good at very many things.
Yeah. And so now you're a parent, so you work in the school system?
Yes, I do. Yes. Some of the students that I work with, some of them have learning disabilities, and other ones have autism, and some students, they don't have disabilities, but they just need that little bit of extra support.
Yeah. So have you come across students like that you was like you love them all, but this student you really want to take your time and try to develop them?
Yes, definitely. There are some that you of course you love them all, and everybody has their favorite though. We just can't let anyone know that there are favorites, but usually they can tell. And
Yeah.
I usually get a lot of the students I usually get that are my favorites are the ones that might have trouble getting along with other people, or might just not necessarily because of behavior, but some of the things they just are a little lost sometimes with that. And I usually get the student that'll draw or will have some other stuff, and I really work hard with a lot of them to just to be able to advocate for themselves. I definitely think that's an important thing. I can remember I had a student that she was really afraid, and she was struggling with her work, and she was afraid to ask for help, and we went through the whole process of how we asked for help, and that student wasn't afraid anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so amazing how you were able to help her and overcome that. And I just think
Mhm.
it's so amazing how our experiences, while they may be bad when we're going through it, but it really shaped us for what we're going to do in the future, but we just doesn't don't know it yet.
Right. Everything that definitely helps and strengthens us for what we're going to do next. I can remember when I was in school, I wondered, why do I have a learning disability? Why is this happening? And a lot of times I'll encounter students that'll say, well, I have a learning disability and I hate it, or I'm stupid. And I get that chance to go to them and tell them, having a disability isn't a bad thing. Asking for help isn't a bad thing. And you're not stupid. Your brain's just wired differently.
Yeah. And like we're all different.
Mm-hmm.
And we all um complement each other. We're not all supposed to be the same.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody is truly different, and we're all here to help each other and to use those strengths to be able to do that.
So how did you meet your husband?
I met him when I was volunteering at our local arts center. I was walking down the street and I had a red dress on, and he was driving, and he's like, "Oh, who's that girl? Where's she going?" And it turns out, yeah, he was going to the art center to play guitar that night. And he's like, "Oh, she's going to the art center. That's where I'm going." And then when we were there, he said, "Oh, we found out we had mutual friends."
Mhm.
And that summer he was in between jobs, and he would hang out at the art center. We got to know each other, and yeah, he was a little shy, and right before Christmas he asked me out, and we had our date at that
How
time.
long have you been with him?
I believe over about 15 years. We've been married for about
Wow.
8 years. Mhm.
Oh, wow. That's so amazing how you met him and you have 2 cats, huh?
Two cats, yes.
So you're a cat lover, not a dog lover?
I love dogs too. I definitely I grew up with dogs. My husband, he's more of a cat person, but I grew to love cats as well.
So, tell us where we can read more about your articles, the website of your blog.
Sure, you can find me at michellesmission.net.
And tell us exactly what does that mean? What is your mission in life that you believe?
My mission is to encourage, educate, and empower people with and without learning disabilities.
Wow, you're definitely a testimony of that. And
Thank you so much.
if you do, you have any last words of encouragement that you would like to leave with our
I'm
listeners?
sure. I would like to encourage people that have disabilities and people who don't to know what they want and to be able to find a way to be able to do that. And that success may not come in the package that you expected, but oftentimes it comes in something even greater.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
Where can we find you on social media?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn as well.
Awesome, awesome. And so, Michelle, it was so good to talk to you and be able to see your face. I definitely thank you for reaching out and for having a conversation with us because it is my mission as well to highlight different people who are doing excellent things, who are not learning anything, getting their way of accomplish their goals. So you are definitely uplifting my confidence just by having a conversation with you. So I just definitely thank you for that.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me again. It's been a pleasure.
So then thank you all for tuning into the Comfort Chit Conversations. And I will see y'all on the next episode. Bye bye.
All right.